Hello, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Oxford, on the show. It's the one and only Linda, and I'm one and only GB. Evening, boys, evening, girls.
Good evening, Linda, and good evening, Ox. Hope you're all well.
Evening, GB, evening, Ox, Ger, evening to all the listeners. I hope you're all keeping well.
How are you? Is that another cardboard cutout for you, Linda?
Well, you never know, Ox, but yes, an interesting young man, let's just say that.
Yeah, and I believe you're thinking the same, GB. Is this true?
Oh, an interesting young man. I don't know if I kicked that way, mate. I'm just really pleased, Ox, to see a signing. I was very, how do you say, nearly at boiling point yesterday by 4 o'clock with no information, no signing still.
Calm down.
Not so much it's not anger, Ox. Just I'm like, tell me he's here. Tell me, show me the video. I think everybody's craving that video, isn't it? The walking about the training centre, and it's a feel good factor. I think that's all I was wanting. I was just wanting the video. I didn't want anything else, and we got it, and really happy.
He's always asking for blue movies, Linda.
We better not say anything about that. We better not say anything.
You know, look, these things take time. The boy's got his life to sort out. He's got to sort his previous call. He's got to get somewhere to stay. The deal's got to be done. It takes time, you know. People have their own thoughts, and it maybe takes too long. He's here now. He's in the club. He's ready to play. A week's training, and we'll see where it takes us. What's your thoughts on the signing? Never mind the time. What's your thoughts on the signing, Linda?
Well, you know, he's a very articulate young man. He spoke very well. Probably hear that in a wee while, won't we, Ox? You know, he's definitely somebody who had a lot of potential a couple of seasons ago. We heard that you know, he was linked with maybe big money moves, but obviously that could just have been speculation anyway. He does appear to maybe have lost his way a wee bit, you know, and I think he admits that. But it's quite exciting that the way he's been speaking about the type of player he is, Ox, you know, attacking. I think he can play in different positions across the front, the forward line as well. And it looks, his enthusiasm, you know, he's going to add a bit of energy. I haven't seen an awful lot of him. I mean, I do remember watching him, obviously for Norwich sometimes, but yeah, I think it's quite exciting, Ox, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does.
GB, thoughts?
Aye, Ox, really happy with the signing. It gives me kind of some similar vibes to when Ryan Kent first came to us in the loan. He's got that kind of pedigree about him. Probably even more so since he has played like competitive football, whereas Ryan Kent was kind of mostly loans. He was dealing with and stuff like that. But for our squad, I just think straight away it just adds quality and competition straight into the team, which is what we're craving for.
Yeah, good. I get that. I'm always a wee bit, any signing, Linda, as you develop your Rangers history, I'm a wee bit sceptical. I'll wait and see. You judge. I've been let down before. Guys I thought would walk it and Hovney, and guys I didn't think would be great or became stars. You know, it's very hard to predict, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. You know, we're sometimes we can be quite a hard crowd to please as well, Ox, you know, and I think, you know, that's just the pressure of playing for Rangers, and I think that's what Michael Beale was talking about when he said that he wanted to speak to them, find out where they're at and what they want to achieve in the future, and no doubt that, you know, he's been speaking to them about the pressures that comes with playing with a big club. But also as well that it's a fantastic opportunity for him to come to a club like Rangers. But yeah, absolutely. And every signing has an element of risk as well, Ox. I mean, you can't get away from that. And if you get off to a good start, I think it gives you a good chance. But if you don't, sometimes it's very difficult to then win round our crowd, isn't it? You know.
But I'm hearing. GB, you might be interested in this. I'm hearing we're after the two Darvel centre halves.
I did enjoy your shout out last night to Darvel, Ox. That was a pleasure, mate. In fact, can we hire that guy for the team talks in the Ibrox dressing room as well, mate? Because that was a fantastic team talk that their manager gave as well last night. So well done to them.
Mick Kennedy. I don't know.
Okay, I'll go back into my wee cupboard.
Don't be too hasty, Ox.
Maybe, you never know. What's in a name? Rangers for everyone and anyone.
That's it.
Right. But that was the biggest shock ever, I think, in Scottish football quite a long under it. But I don't think there's been obviously shock results periodically. We've had a few, but nothing. I don't think nothing ever has matched that result, has it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell you something, Ox, it puts our result into perspective. And I know we've not been overly happy with the performances at Johnson, but we're through. And as you rightly said over the last few shows, it's all about getting through in the cup, because you never know what can happen, eh?
No, listen, if you go and win the cup, I think Alec McLeish's year they won the treble. We drew away at Berwick Rangers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, drew away at Berwick Rangers. There's a bit of pointless trouble for you, GB.
Mate, I wouldn't be surprised, Ox, and there's been many a time I've been sitting during Walter Smith's periods that I think he built mostly a career on 1-0 results. That's probably where Bridgman gets it for. I mean, it's Walter Smith was successful in the Cups with grinding out results, and I do sometimes question, Ox, where the fan base gets this, where we should be going out and smashing teams every week. We were never a club like that would smash teams every single week. We had to grind out results all the time. So I think a wee bit of realism needs to come back to the fan base a wee bit, mate.
I think there's times when you get an early goal, when you go and you win comfortably, and the game's moved on, it's faster. And when you're playing at some of the better stadiums, you're playing on a good surface, Linda. Yeah. But traditionally, Scottish football has been a slog during these periods, December, January, February, before the parts start getting harder,
Yeah, definitely. And I know, every club has a lot of games, but he's made the point about the 3 games we had in 6 days on terrible surfaces. In fact, that Darvel pitch looked a lot better than Hampden, didn't it, Ox?
Looked better than the 3 pitches.
Aye, definitely. So I suppose when, there's a lot bit of context around that, and obviously as well, we've spoken about this group of players, but he's been working with the same group since he came in. He's only been able to welcome back Connor Golson, and then obviously Cholak's come back in. Other than that, some of these players have played nearly every minute of every game. So we've got to, I know we want better performances, as GB says, but I do think we've got to cut them a bit of slack. I think it's remarkable, that run of results that Michael Beale has achieved, Ox, considering what he's been working with.
Aye, when everybody was on a low and he's picked us up, and slowly but surely, we didn't play well on Saturday. It wasn't a great game, but we got through. You park it, you move on. It's, and we're in the next round of the cup. We've got a favourable draw against a team that we should beat at home. So next thing you know, you're sitting in the quarterfinals, Linda, and you're saying, right, okay, 2 more wins, we're in the final, 3 more wins, we win the competition, so aye, let's go for it.
Yeah, keep the momentum going, that's a good thing about it.
Here. Right, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We've got an interview for young Todd Cantwell. He done a presser. We're going to have that. We've got that to listen to, if that's all right with you. We'll get your thoughts. But I'm going to challenge you to, right, under you got a pen?
Yes.
GB, you got a crane?
I knew you were going to say that.
Any colour you want.
I've got my sketcher board.
Extra sketch.
Aye.
Just shake it when you get it right.
Aye.
Right. What I want you to think about is, this is a transfer come in. It's the first sign of the transfer window. It looks as if there's a couple more to go. Rumour to a few more as well. And we'll see what it takes. I want you to think of a transfer, best team that's come in, best group of players that's come in, and set them up as a team, and also the biggest flops.
Okay.
Yeah, it won't be your opinion. It doesn't mean that they're for money or whatever. Just All right, it's only a bit of fun. Don't worry about it. You'll not be marked.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, all right. We'll not mark your homework. All right. You can mark. There we go. You can mark each other's homework. Is that all right?
I'll get my
Perfect.
cone hat ready.
Right. Get yourself to mute, and we're going to hear from our latest signing, Todd Candler.
Kennedy, you want to kick it off?
Yep. Todd, in the nicest possible sense, have you any idea what you're getting yourself into?
Yeah, I think I'm aware of what I've signed up to. Obviously, it's a massive football club. With that comes massive responsibility. But you know, for the future and for where I was looking to move forward, I think it was a perfect fit.
Is that because you're looking to win things, to play in Europe?
Yeah, exactly that. You know, I think I said yesterday, you know, I've always been someone that wants to win, and obviously it's embedded in Rangers to win games, and you know, it's something that I accept as a challenge, and exactly that. You know, the European opportunity is fantastic. You know, every player wants to play in those sort of competitions, so yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting going.
Have you taken any soundings from people who've played up here before? Maybe thinking of Timo Pukki and Kenny McLean at Norwich, maybe Ryan Christie at Bournemouth?
Yeah, listen, I think everyone's obviously, you know, very happy for me. All of my friends and you know, players I've played with have you know said their piece on it. But really, I believe in your own experience and going in there with a fresh, open mindset towards things. Don't get too tarnished by what other people's experience has been, because in life, everything for everyone can be different, right?
And what's your perception of not just this club, but Scottish football in general, and where this club kind of fits into that big picture?
I know exactly where Rangers fit into it, and that's right at the top. I know that obviously Scottish football, there's obviously some big games up here. There's some big rivalries, which I'm sure everyone's aware of. So yeah, for me, obviously I've been in England my whole career so far, apart from a brief spell away. So yeah, it's going to be different, but I'd like to think I'm quite adaptable.
Why did you feel now was the right time to move away from Norwich?
I think, to be honest, I think sometimes in football, anything in life really, sometimes you just need a fresh start and a new set of scenery really. And I think, you know, at Norwich, you know, it's a club I came through at, is a club that I hold very close to my heart. I spent a lot of time there. It was very difficult, but listen, as a footballer, you have quite a short career. It goes quite quickly, and you know, I don't want to look back with any regrets. And you know, when I spoke to Ross and I spoke to the manager, it was pretty clear that this was the right move for me.
What was the vision that they laid out to you?
The vision was, for me, the most important thing right now is to getting back to playing and enjoying my football. I lost a little bit of touch with that, and I think they sense that that's quite important for me. I think you get the best version of me by just enjoying myself. And yeah, you know, when I spoke to the manager, his incredible depth to his detail in such a short sort of first opening conversation really opened my eyes up to kind of what it was I was potentially signing up to.
Has he outlined to you exactly how he sees you fitting into his plans here?
Yeah. Obviously, as a player, you want that sort of clarity before you come up. You don't want to come up as a winger and end up as a left back. So yeah, no, he's been pretty clear with what he wants from me. Obviously, naturally, every manager wants a player that's going to work hard and give them 100%. So that's the bottom line, really.
How important was that conversation before you made your decision?
It was the most important. I think for me and my career and where I sit right now, having a manager that believes in me, but you know, a project where, you know, the manager here is building something, I think that was something that was really important for me. And at some clubs that's not always outlined and clear, so to come here and to have it so clear was brilliant.
You've not played since November, I think, last year. How would you say your fitness is at just now?
Yeah, my fitness is good. I'm lucky really, I've got quite a good base fitness anyway, and just because I haven't played does certainly not mean I haven't been working hard. So in terms of fitness wise, I think I'm obviously not in the place I'd like to be, because you know, you can only get match fitness from playing games, right? So I'll take a little bit of getting up to speed, but in terms of base fitness, I think I'm in a good place.
Last year there was reports down south linking you with a move to Spurs, Newcastle, Chelsea. Was something like that ever close?
Listen, I think things in the past, for me especially, is something that's always sort of hovered over my head. Now listen, I take great pride in what it is I have achieved and what I had done and the teams I was linked with, but right now I think the important thing for me is to leave the past behind me and continue to look forward to the future.
Manager spoke about wanting to recruit players who can deal with 50,000 and the pressure that comes with Glasgow. How much are you aware of the pressure here, and are you a player that will accept that?
Yeah, no, you know, I've obviously played only ever away from home at venues like that, which hold that sort of fan base. So to have it on my own side and behind me, I think it's going to be really powerful for me.
And the manager also said he wants players who are here for 2, 3, 4 years to build something. What is it you want to achieve over that time?
I think for me, right now, I think the important thing is lifting silverware. I think, you know, this club comes with that responsibility, as we touched on earlier. You know, you have to look at this as a massive opportunity to win trophies, and in football, you know, that's not always easy. That's not easy to win stuff, and you have to be in a good team with a good manager and good players to actually win silverware. So that is definitely the intention. You
spoke about, obviously, you burst onto the scene in 2019, a great season in the Premier League, linked with big clubs. Maybe the last year or so hasn't gone perfectly for you. Is this a sort of reset for you in your career?
Yeah, it is. I think I've got to take what I've done and take that experience with me. Also, you've got to leave some of the scars behind, right? Because you can't move forward if you don't allow yourself to. So for me, I've learnt a lot. I think I've got quite a good sort of catalogue of experience, really, in terms of good and bad over the last couple of years, and I think that will shape me into the player that I want to be viewed at now and in the years to come.
Todd, what type of player can the fans expect to see here? How would you sum up your game?
I'd sum up my game as someone that's very passionate, someone that cares a lot about the result at the end. I'm not obsessed with who scores the goals or who sets them up, which might sound strange as an attacking player, but for me, genuinely, hand on heart, the most important thing is being on the winning team. So I'll give everything I can. I think in terms of what you can expect in terms of what I actually do on the ball will be, you know, I like to get on the ball a lot. I like to make things happen. I like to spot a pass that maybe other people don't, and I like to just sort of get the team going in a rhythmic way, really.
What was it about the conversation with the manager that made you believe he can get the best out of you up here?
I think for me, the type of player I am, it's really important that I play in a possession-based team. It's really important that I play in almost a free-flowing type attack. And here that fits a lot of different positions, which gives me a lot of space to really go and create and do exactly what it is. So in that sense, I shouldn't really have too many excuses.
So you said when you had a chat with Michael, you offered clarity as to where it was you would be playing. Have you got a preferred position, and have you had a discussion about that with Michael?
To be honest, I think I've made my bread and butter really playing off the wing. But I think naturally I've always been maybe more centrally. I think that's probably where I would see myself playing in years to come. Luckily that's where the manager sees it as well. So, you know, I think he's aware that I can play in multiple different positions, and I think with, as I touched on, the sort of freedom and the rotation that potentially is going to happen here, I think that could leave me playing in an array of different positions.
You've got quite an unusual number as well, wearing the number 13. Some people perceive that to be quite unlucky. What was the thinking behind that?
Well, my answer to that would be, is it unlucky for Thomas Muller? I don't think it's been too unlucky for him. So, no, the number 30, obviously I was number 14 at Norwich. That was for a separate reason, and obviously coming here, you know, looking at the squad list and the squad numbers, I thought, you know what, actually I want to make a number for myself. I like to think that, you know, even the way things ended at Norwich, that I left a little bit of a legacy, and that's definitely what I'd like to do here.
How big a draw was the European football? Obviously Rangers' achievements in Europe over the last year. Did you have a look at some of the atmosphere, some of the games here, and think, yeah, I want a part of that?
Yeah, no, it was obviously before I had any sort of idea I would ever be up here, I was watching and actually supporting them, because, you know, as a lad, you know, you want teams around you to do well, and yeah, no, it was massive. It really was. I think watching that final, you know, it's goosebumps for anyone really. You didn't really have to be associated to Rangers at that point to understand kind of what a massive club it was, really. So yeah, no, I'm very proud to be here.
Todd, you mentioned things haven't went as well as you would like maybe over the last 18 months or so, and leaving those scars behind. Have you had a chance to sort of analyse yourself why you think that was? Was it maybe changes in playing styles, etc. at Norwich, or things like that you think you can then be better suited to here?
Yeah, no, you know, I think as a footballer things aren't always going to go well for you, and I think my career started in a very promising and sort of satisfying way, really. I didn't really have too many challenges come my way, and then yeah, I kind of had them all come at once. You know, obviously, listen, you guys probably are fully aware that things off the pitch can affect someone on the pitch, just like any normal person. So yeah, there's been struggles, but listen, everyone has struggles off the pitch, and everyone has struggles in life. So, you know, I'm not here for a sob story, but, you know, I'm in a position now where I feel like I've got a mental strength towards, you know, a lot of things, and I've got a chance to prove a lot of people wrong.
Todd, Michael Beale's quite obviously very well spoken, especially a lot of players talk about how well renowned his coaching ability and things were. How much of a draw that not only to come to Rangers but to work with Michael Beale and help get that help from him to enhance your career and fully flourish in things?
Yeah, no, it really was massive. When I say it's probably the biggest factor in me coming here, it would be that the manager. He's known me for a long time as well, which was important because he knows the type of person, but also the type of player I've been for the last sort of 4 or 5 years. So he knew exactly what he was getting when he signed me. And yeah, he's had a pretty short, senior management time, but the amount of sort of experience along his journey, and for me being still on the younger side of a footballer, I think it's impeccable for me to get this relationship going, and I think he can really get the best out of not only me but the team as well.
Quite nice.
Very much.
Wow. A young guy should be in. I think he's maybe he's not your usual footballer. Linda should maybe be in the House of Commons.
Very articulate, isn't he? Came over very well. He speaks well. Interesting, area questions there. A lot of the questions coming from some of the fan base media as well, Ox, that want to know a wee bit more about where he's going to play and what type of player he is. And then
I'm a bit intrigued with that as well, Linda. Let's assume he starts at the weekend, right?
Yeah.
Where does he play?
I know, because he talked about being a wide player, but he also likes to play sort of centrally as well, doesn't he? So is he going to actually fit into if we're doing I don't know if it would be a 4-2-3-1 as normal, do you see him fitting in being one of the wider players, or is he going to actually maybe sometimes play the Tillman role? I don't know, Ox. It's very interesting, and it obviously gives Michael Beale more options as well, doesn't it?
Some people say, GB, that Ibrox against certain teams, we don't need the two sitters. It should maybe be a 4-1-4-1 or a 4-1-3-2. Then there becomes scope to have more attacking players, but then the attacking players would need to work hard if you were in a game.
Ox, you raise a brilliant question. Like, where does the boy got to fit into the squad as it stands now with the formation? I think Michael Beale's touched on it. I think in a previous interview, he's saying that you will start to gradually see the team change. He said he's using what he can now to get his buy. But I think come into this window and probably come the summer, I think we'll see a total tactical change with Beale and how he sets up, especially against this kind of low block. No big vast changes, Ox, but I think he might even revert back to kind of the 4-3-3 or the one sitter, like you're saying. I think we will, especially we've been linked with. I think we might go back to kind of that one sitter, and then you could have maybe even a possibility, even Tillman and Todd being in the midfield, and then you've got your front three, maybe your Kent, possibly another signing, and then your chosen striker bang in the middle of it. That's it. If I think there's got to be a headache coming for the manager, which is good, Ox. But I think big changes are fruit, mate.
No, we'll see. Look, the boys get undoubted ability, Linda, and he burst onto the scene, and he competed against some teams with Norwich that, they're the equivalent of Darvel versus Aberdeen, Yeah. And you have to raise their game. They're playing against big guys, and he done okay. So he had to see me a bang, and we'll see where he fits in. He seems to be a really level-headed young lad. Eh?
Yeah, definitely. Some of the points he made about he's passionate. He cares about winning. And he's not overly concerned about who scores the goals, etc. But it's a winning mentality. And I think that's quite important as well, because if you walk off the park and you've not won a game, he gave you the impression that that's the sort of thing that would annoy him, and I know that should go without saying, Ox, but it doesn't always with footballers. Sometimes they're picking up their paycheck and it's not all about the winning, but it is for us as a club. So I think he obviously he's got a good grip on that. Quite a lot of questions as well, when we're talking about the manager's impact and what sort of part Michael Beale played in actually getting him to come to the club, Ox, and I think that's quite important,
Great point you make there, Linda. Fox sent me some just late on last night, just before the end of the show, and I never got it in last night. It was something he wanted to ask me, and I'll ask you too. We were a bit worried when Michael Beale came in about, you're always thinking the manager for attracting players. Well, just the two, let's be honest, the last two managers have been arguably top drop footballers, close to being world class. If no people would say they were world class, they've both done exceptional things in their career. Michael Beale's reputation as a coach might be his passport to help us recruit people, GBA.
Big time, Ox. I mean, I was very, very sceptical with Michael Beale getting the manager's job, and it just shows you. I mean, even in that interview, Todd went and said that the managers knew him for about 4 years. I mean, so they must all, know of Michael Beale. I mean, he's been in about the coaching setups of big clubs. So his name's definitely been getting about in the kind of football world. So it just shows you that our manager, you're probably thinking we're getting a bit of a novice, but our manager's actually got a bit of a pull, and there'll be a few eyebrows raised with that signing, Ox, that we've been able to capture this boy.
Linda?
Yeah, I agree with GB. Gerrard had obviously the charisma. He had not long finished playing, and I think where we were when Gerrard walked in, I mean, it was we just saw him as something that was hopefully going to elevate us and where we'd come from, Ox. It's slightly different with Beale. I know we've had some success. And we also had a reasonably good season last year as well, but it's just the start that we made to this season that ultimately cost GOE's job, didn't it? But no, I don't think I realised how renowned he is as a coach, Michael Beale, and we're obviously hearing a lot about that now. And I think particularly down south, Ox, he's obviously made his name. I know he did work abroad as well. And obviously, the fact that he worked with Gerrard for quite a number of years too, we always actually had, thought that Beale was actually the one behind, setting up and how we played, etc. So, kudos to Beale, because I think he is going to be able to get players to come to the club, Ox.
Sorry, excuse me. It was a criticism. It's maybe when he was recruited, and it might be a criticism we'll get again, GB, if results don't go our way. But if you keep winning football matches, you keep bringing players in, you keep improving. It's tick, 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 and we'll see where it takes us, mate.
I think, Ox, we've got a guy in who is obsessed. Well, I mean, obsessed is the right word, but he's all about football. In his work, that's his hobby plus his job, if you know what I mean. So he loves both his job and his hobby. And he says he's always watching football and all the rest of it. So I think we've got a guy who's dedicated to the cause. And when you get that, and you get basically, like I says, watching umpteen players and stuff like that, I think he will be the perfect fit for Rangers, because we're trying to find diamonds in the rough kind of thing. And I think we've basically picked one up for Norwich. I mean, we've got a boy wanting to kickstart his career again, and he's seen Rangers as a big opportunity to be able to do that, and under a manager that's going to hopefully improve his game as well. So I think like I says, there's more to come for Beale and his transfer findings, and to a certain extent, we've got to probably congratulate Ross Wilson as well, because he's been involved in the negotiations and he's made the boy feel welcome as well. So I suppose kudos goes to him as well.
Yeah. All right. we'll get these phone lines open and see what people want to talk about, if that's all right with you two.
Yep.
Lovely.
Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Todd Cantwell fits in, and definitely a guy who can carry the ball forward and make things happen. I don't think he's going to score you 15 goals a season for midfield, Linda. I might be wrong, but I think he can make 15 goals for midfield if he's on the pitch and gets a level of consistency.
Yeah, definitely. He talked it, didn't he? He's a creative player. He does like to, play in a team that with the sort of attacking's free flowing, and it should be like that in domestic football. And I think that's something that we're all quite keen to see, Ox. Playing with a wee bit more freedom and scoring goals, but sometimes we're not creating enough chances. So if he can bring that to the team, then obviously that'll be a great start for us. And if he chips in with a few goals as well, then that even better. Because sometimes, as we've said, we've not been getting maybe enough goals from the kind of wide players. I know Kent started to chip in a wee bit again. But no, it's going to be really good to see how he fits in.
GB?
Sorry, I was doing a bridge on mute there. Ox, I think the thing I like about him, and for what I've seen in the usual highlights reel, is that the boy can shoot from outside the box. We don't do enough of it. We've not got guys that can get it on target, and this boy seems to be able to do it, Ox. He likes to ghost as well. He likes to go in front of the striker as well. He likes to run on past him. I think the likes of Cholak, hopefully will feed off this boy. I think he's just got to be, as he says in his press conference, a guy that can see a pass that nobody else can, or open up a defence, and we're crying out for that, Ox. We've been missing it since probably Tom Lawrence came out the squad. So he's getting this boy in. Hopefully he hits the ground running, and I think the fans will start to see more goals in the team. No, maybe through him, but I think that boy's assists will be definitely up there.
Yeah, I hope you're right, mate. I hope you're right. I'm looking forward to seeing him, Linda. Yeah, I've always reserved judgment because I don't know. It's a heavy jersey. The pressure, the boy admitted that is going to be new to him. The expectation, he's looking forward to the challenge. Really, really positive and all that, what he's saying. But I'll reserve judgment because he's got to find his feet. He's got to find the team. He's got to find his position, and he's got to understand what he's playing for. And every game's a cup final, so let's hope it works out for the lad. I think there is a lot of positivity in it, but we'll see where it takes us. But I think potentially we've got a good junior.
Yeah, and I think he was talking himself about, leaving the past behind him. He doesn't want to, have any baggage as such. He's obviously had some difficulties, Ox, even like off the field. And he wants, it's a reset for him, and he wants to get back enjoying his football again. So he's not had an easy time of it the last couple of seasons. I don't think was it November, I think he said was the last time he had played. The retraining video the day he was getting put through his paces, we saw that. And he might not be match fit, but he's ready to go. And as I say, it's a fresh start for him, and he doesn't want to dwell too much on what's gone on previously. He's just looking so much to the future, Ox, and hopefully we'll reap the benefits of that.
I can see him starting on the bench at the weekend, I'll be honest with you. I said it last night, and I'm sticking to my guns with that one, GB.
Yeah, Ox, I think he's going to need a bit of time to settle in. I think we need to kind of, I'm like you, a wee bit reserve the judgment because the boy is just in the door. He's got to get an understanding of the team. But don't get me wrong, if the scoreline's looking healthy, i.e. we're sitting at 3-0 up with 20 minutes to go, I don't see any kind of cause for concern with firing the boy on for a good 20-odd minutes.
All right. We've been joined by Blue Star. Evening, Blue Star.
Evening, Ox, Chair, Linda and JB. Just what you're talking about, what latest signing, Todd Cantwell. I'm quite encouraged, delighted, Ox. You mentioned there where he was going to play. I think it's quite obvious. I think his overall system has always been 4-2-3-1 or 4-2. Basically 4-2-3-1. I think, maybe being a bit controversial, I still think Kent and Morelos will go, and I think his future plans will be Lawrence, Cantwell, and the boy, what do you call him, Raskin, if he gets him. Other than that, I think he'll keep at least one, whether it's, what do you call him, Lundstrom or Jack. I don't think he'll be keeping the two of them. He possibly could, and he could play them just the way he has been, two of them sitting. But I think we've all been crying out for legs in the middle of the park. The boy's got that. The boy Raskin's got that, although I think he's maybe a kind of tackler. And certainly Lawrence has got that. And I think that's the future way forward. Forward-thinking players that can run with the ball at their feet. They move fast for midfield, and it's not just left to one guy up front to try and put goals in, because they'll all be firing in all cylinders. And I think that can only be great for our team. I think we're crying out for that type of player.
Just a couple of things there, Bostar. I'll take your point. I checked something earlier on the day. See, Michael Beale come in. I think we've had 11 different scorers, mate.
Yeah. Oh, I know that. And again, before that, everything was down to Kovacs, wasn't it? So it's good to see that we've been getting an overall, whether it's Sakala, even Lindstrom, Jack. They've all been chipping in. No, with a lot of goals, certainly. We've been getting the odd one or two, but certainly it's coming from various players. So obviously that's what he's encouraging. And if you're getting legs in the middle of the park with guys that run forward with the ball at their feet, that's exactly what you will get, because defenders like to be able to just look after one or two players. But if you've got 3 and 4 running at you at all times, they're all over the place, and that's what's creates space. You heard them saying, I liked to be bit when he mentioned about where he thought he would be playing, and he says, look, I predominantly kind of played out in the left, he says, but I like to get that bit of free roll. He says, I like to play in the middle. He says, and I don't care about scoring. He says, as long as the team's winning. That's a great thing to have, because you've heard that even for well-known stars. They'll tell you, I like to go on the ball and I like to score goals. The boy's quite level-headed sounding. He's telling you straight, look, it's not all about me trying to get the goals. I like to make goals. No. So I'm quite encouraged, I really am.
If you play in a midfield role, you're going to accept that you should make more goals and you're going to score. That's fair, eh?
Absolutely. And it's your great players and your very good players that can get on the end of them tail, i.e. your Gerrards, etc. So if he's got mobility, there's no doubt about that. And that for me is the main thing that we're crying out for. Guys that can run forward with that ball at their feet.
See, when we talk about legs in the midfield, I'll come, you can have a time to think about it, I suppose, that Linda. I mean, not talking about we're defensive midfielders, Lundstrom, Jack, etc. Because that's where we're lack of pace. If you're talking about with the system we've got at the moment, if you take the people who's been playing predominantly Lundstrom, Jack, Kent, Sakala, Tillman, there is guys who can run there. There's legs there. The lack of legs, and I get Bostar's point, has been in the defensive where they've got engines about them, but they've not got pace.
Yeah, they're playing too far back. They're playing too near. They're playing too near. I think at times John Lundstrom was Martin Allen McGregor at the weekend. Right. They're too close to the two central defenders. They should be pushing right up, and it's possible because they're a bit wary that if we lose the ball, they're not getting back. But certainly when they take the ball, it's a matter of like a few yards away. They should be further up so that they can then push up, and we've got an overload. There's too much of a gap sometimes between the holding two and somebody like Jack Lindstrom and Tillman. So they need to push up, but it could be the fact that they're not doing it because they've not got the legs to get back. Mm-hmm. But that's something that we really need to work on.
We'll see. I think things will develop and move on, GB, any thoughts, mate?
Just I noticed there the last couple of days, Ox, there's been a lot of heat on Lundstrom and stuff like that. But for me, Lundstrom's been told to do a specific job by the manager. I mean, he's told to sit in there. I just think the manager's already said that John Lundstrom, he's wanting him tied down to a contract. He's wanting his future sorted out as well. So Lundstrom's going to be a player that's going to be involved in this change that's happening in our squad. And I just think once he gets these right players in place, then you will see Lundstrom maybe being a more kind of forward-thinking player, if you mean, in the midfield, rather than the defensive-minded, you mean? Or he might be the one guy, but playing the kind of jack role, the two, they might be the two that keep swapping each other, you mean? That may be now he's wanting two for every position. I think this is what we're starting to see now. We're starting to see maybe a bit of the clear out with this signing, and then he's got to start to put in place now two for each position. Because it definitely, if what we're being linked to and what we've signed with Todd, I think it's beginning and end. For some players, I think the writing is definitely on the walks.
I've got to be honest with you. I mean, we know that John's not been 100% fit. He was excellent against Celtic, and I don't want to bash the guy, but it's only my opinion. And if you look at the last three games, the game of Hampden, atrocious, non-existent against Kilmarnock, and the whole team, along with John, were playing a bad surface, but there's still no excuses for some of the passes. Some of the passing has been shocking. For Lundstrom, 10, 20-yard passes, simple passes, not the long, rangy passes that you have a goal with Blue Star, the Hollywood passes that come off now and then, the bread and butter passes to make the attack go. He's let himself down because we know he's better than that.
Aye, absolutely. I mean, some of the passing has been atrocious, so it really has. And as you say, it's not as if it's your 40, 50 yarders. It's your 6 feet in front of you to your opposing teammate, and they're not making them. Either the ball's too soft or they're hitting it directly, not even near the guy, well out the park. I mean, the amount of stray passes we've seen going out of the byline in both sides has been absolutely horrendous at times. But they're not getting away from it. London JB's right. The position that Lundstrom's been playing in the last three games, it's hard to fathom. As you say, he's virtually playing in front, sometimes in front of our 18-yard line. When I'm watching the games back, I'm going, what the hell's he doing back there? Especially when we've been running, maybe Tav or somebody else has been on running up a wing. Lundstrom's still lying right back. So you're saying to yourself, well, there must be plenty of orders. I just don't see Beale playing him that way at all. I take that point where you're saying he is maybe a kind of defensive side midfielder, but he always liked to get forward. But it could just be Beale's got him because he's a robust guy. He's wanting him to be the sitter, and that's how I'm saying. If he's got three guys in front of him plus a striker, meaning four, any one of these three guys must be. It's all right saying Sakala can run forward with the ball. Our midfield hasn't been moving as a machine with the ball. It's always been one guy breaking and trying to hit a ball into the middle. That's no use. That's just not going to work for us. And Michael Beale knows that. He's wanting 2 and 3 guys running alongside whoever's running with that ball. The amount of times you've seen Sakala, even the other night there, I mean, the ball that he laid on for Morelos in a play, I'm sorry, no excuses for that whatsoever. Any striker can miss a goal, we know that. But when you're not even putting it in target, when it's a simple, to me, it was a simple tap in either side of the goalie. When you're not even putting them in target, you can't have that. And that's how you need your 3 or your 4 players that are moving forward at all times, not just whenever they're getting a break. You've got to move as a machine. That's a good team. And when we're playing against teams that don't have a lot of the ball, we can look at stats and you're getting 60 and 70%, sometimes 80% possession. But we're doing it in the halfway line. The ball goes to Kent, he stops at the 18-yard line and passes the ball backwards because there's nothing up there. That's absolutely no use whatsoever. We need to move, and I think that's what our manager's seen. He wants, say, 3 in front of the 2 sitting midfielders. If he goes that way, he wants, say, 3 going forward so that they've got options to pass that body for somebody to have a dig. And for me, that is the way to go.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what else happens. And well, obviously, there'll be players moving to the door sooner or later, and maybe some of them will sign contracts like that, and the squad will develop naturally.
Yeah, and I think, he was talking about a 25% turnaround, wasn't he? So it will be interesting to see who leaves, and it's he's been using this time to assess the squad that he's got. We've got obviously any player that's going to be out of contract in the summer. You'll be deciding whether they've got a future or they've got a part to play, Ox. I think quite a lot of us are thinking that, some of the older players, it might be time just to thank them for what they've done, but it's time to move on. We need to maybe, reduce the sort of overall age of the squad. So there is quite a wee bit of work to be done in that regard. But there's certainly a few players that he's managed to sort of turn around their form a wee bit, hasn't he, Ox? But it will be good for him to get some of the injured players back as well.
I think if we're being fair, it's for results that have been great, and at times we've looked better. But to say we're on a run of form, would that be exaggerating the truth? GB, then Blue Star.
We're on a winning run of form, Ox, I would say. We have showed character in coming back in the games. As much as an absolute annoyance has gone behind first, we are showing the dig and a bit of character to come back into the game. You can't start it up. I mean, the performances haven't been amazing, but as I've said, Ox, we're probably... This will be probably a good base for us to learn from going forward as a squad, because, like I said earlier, Walter Smith, McLeish, all that, titles and trophies were won with messy results, hard-fought games, boring 1-0 results. So for us to expect our team to go out and smash teams 4-0 every weekend is, I don't know, is a fantasy, to be honest. As much as I would like it, and Beale was trying to build something like that, I can see that. I think where we are at the now, if we went that kind of same fighting spirit the full season and won the league, I'd be quite happy, to be honest, Ox, because that's winning his titles, mate.
Always the games that win you the league are the goals in the last minute, and you get all the points and they all add up at the end of the season. What was you say about form and results? I think my results are excellent under Beale. Form, it's up for debate, if I'm being honest, Worcester.
Well, I always get the name of being a pessimist. My honest, truthful opinion is I've not seen any difference in form whatsoever. I really haven't. What I would say, and I give the guy all the credit in the world, he's brought on a couple of players, i.e. Kent's moving far, far better. There's no doubt about that. For me, Kent lets his cell down time and time again simply because he never ever takes on that last man. I can't fathom a guy out at times. He'll get space, and instead of taking that last man on and bursting into the penalty area and causing absolute havoc, he stops, checks, passes that ball back. Has me tearing my hair out. Sakala, on the other hand, you look at wee Sakala, and we all know he's like Ted McMahon, he can fall out of the ball at the last opportune moment. But the one thing you're seeing about him, he seems to, you can see it in him. He's got confidence now because he's had a run of games and he's at least taking players on. And whenever that wee guy bursts forward, he's creating havoc. He's definitely creating havoc. My downside with that is there still isn't enough players up supporting them. And so the performance levels, no, they're nowhere near good enough. You can't dress it up, and I get the fact the last 3 games the pitches have been bad, etc. When we start getting down that line, we want to chuck it. I know the pitches have been bad, but that's no excuse for the way, as you said 5 minutes ago, a 6-yard pass and they can't flip and make it. There's no excuse for that, none whatsoever. So the performances have been pretty dire, but give the guy his due. He hasn't lost a game yet. He's been winning them. So, yes, the results are the overall end game, but the performances have to go up tenfold.
What he's done is, when he's got a hold on him at half time, some people would give criticism to him, Linda, but when he's got a hold on him at half time, there's been a marked improvement. I think the classic example would have been the Dundee United game. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I know we wish that he didn't need to do that at half time. We just wish that they would just come out and play like that, right from the off in the games. But it is a sign, obviously, of a good manager if he can get, up the performance, which ultimately gets them the win. And Gio, for a while, was able to make a lot of good decisions in game. Remember, Ox, particularly in the European stage. But they're certainly playing better than they were. I mean, I know Blue Star saying it's the performances still haven't been great, but there are certain players who started to play a bit better, because I just don't think we would have won these games, Ox, if they'd obviously still been playing the way that they had under Gio. We would be out of the 2 cups as well.
There's improvement, Linda. Definitely improvement. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I see improvement, but to see our form is peaked. But to be fair, at the time of the season when Beale's come in, GB, it is a time for grinding out results. Traditionally, pitches on at their best. You've got a lot of fixtures coming together around about Christmas time, and then you just have to grind your way through it. It's all about results.
Oh, aye, 100%. Also, you tend to find at this time of year as well that certain teams, it's their cup final, and they only turn up for that one game, and then they get beat off a junior team. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of time of the year we're at, but no, I mean, I agree with Blue Star to a certain extent that the performances haven't been great, but and amongst that, though, the way the performances, there is that kind of no surrender attitude. The players have fought to the very end and got the result. They've dug out. They've no. I says, if they weren't in it and they weren't wanting to play better, or they weren't wanting to try and make it work, then we wouldn't have got the results that we've been getting. And I think as well, we need to appreciate that the managers came back up the road, and he knows the league, but he's starting to learn the teams again that he's playing against, like say Dundee United, Hearts, Hibs. They've all changed personnel and all that since he's left. So they're all, as much as we think they're all sitting in every weekend, they're all trying different tactics to try and disorient the game. I mean, for Rangers, they don't want Rangers playing the nice football. They want to mess it up for us. They want to make it hard so that we can't play the way we want to see on the park. So I think the managers got a lot to try and learn for the league, for the rest of the league this season. I mean, it's going to be better for him for coming into for next season. I think, like I said, he's going to learn a lot for these hard games there, the winter period.
All right. I mean, I'm not having a go at Michael Beale's job. I'm saying that I think he's done a fabulous job. The way he conducts himself, the way he's got the squad buying into his ideas. You can see a difference in the tactics. We take more guys in the box. We're scoring slightly more goals. Not enough goals, in my opinion. But more guys are scoring, more players are scoring. Our defence maybe no ideal. If you're looking at if you're nitpicking, but it's all about scoring goals to change games. I can see improvement. I'm just saying that an observation. We played sometimes great stuff, Blue Star, but no for a whole sustained period.
Yeah, starting games seems to have been a problem. It was a problem under Gio, and it's still a problem under Michael Beale. One of the things I can't understand, Docs, is that you take the game the other day there. We were 3-1 up with 12, 15 minutes to go. And all of a sudden, from midfield to defence, our midfielders decided to go right back, virtually in line with our 4 defenders. And you're inviting the other team on. Was it Killigame? Aye, Killigame. And all of a sudden, you're giving them the whole free rein 3/4 of the park, just to go down the wing and pump the balls in. They run up the park, they score a wonderful goal, a hit, one of the ones, probably try it another 9 times and not put it in. But the fact is, it did. And then you're biting your fingernails for the last 5 minutes or so. When we were 3-1 up, why we decided, now I don't know, that must be a mentality thing, why our the midfield, the guys that were in there, all decided to sit back. I can't fathom that. If we go forward and we create one mere chance, the game's folded, it's finished. And instead of that, we nearly came a cropper. We done the same against Aberdeen. We invited them on to us. We done the same against Dundee United. They score a late goal and then you're panicking and you're saying, well, get forward and finish the game. And I think that's one of our drawbacks. We're midfield, aren't controlling the midfield as such. And that's how I'm glad to see that he's bringing guys in for that midfield. And I think they get on the ball, they're continuously going to be on the ball. And I think that'll be a massive, massive, massive difference to our team. And also, Ogs, I think it'll take so much pressure off our defence. Because if your midfield's controlling the ball most of the game, i.e. in your possession, you're making them work at their end of the pitch, your defence obviously has got more respite. Instead of the last 10 minutes of every game, we're under flipping pressure because our team's automatically sitting in front of our goalie. We've got to get away from that. The last couple of games we could easily have been drawing, because we're inviting the pressure on us, and that's got to stop.
Aye, we could make the games easier for ourselves at times, right? If it's all right with you, Linda, I will come back about your successes and your flops. And we're not talking about your love life, Linda. We want the Rangers transfers, yeah. Right.
I'll make that require a book of its own.
Well, wait a minute, we might forget about the transfers and that. GB, we might talk about that. Eh?
I'm only joking, 1 page.
Is this Jeremy Kyle?
Oh, sure. You never know when it's changed, GB, do you?
I know, Jeremy Ox.
Right, okay. Get yourself in mute, because we're going to have a tune.
I'd been in exile for some years and my eyes filled up with tears when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. So I took a trip along just to hear some famous songs when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. I stood there all alone while the boys all down from home sang of Rangers, that team of great renown. And a sight I'd never seen when they sang God Save the Queen, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. There's not a team like the Glasgow Rangers, one of the famous songs they sung. And a sight I'd never seen when they sang God Save the Queen, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. Now on the field below, the boys put on a show, the likes they'd never seen at Molyneux. And as football it was grand, from Macmillan, Scott and Brand, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. There's not a team like the Glasgow Rangers, one of the famous songs they sung. And a sight I'd never seen when they sang God Save the Queen, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. Now the league flag must come nearer with men like Bobby Shearer, the way he played at Wolverhampton town. And the world forever after would sing of Jimmy Baxter, for on his head they placed that noble crown. There's not a team like the Glasgow Rangers, one of the famous songs they sung. And a sight I'd never seen when they sang God Save the Queen, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton town. Now I knew it had to happen, I heard a mighty roar, the famous Glasgow Rangers they had scored. And the sky was white and blue, Wolverhampton shook right through, the loyal ramping Rangers had come through. There's not a team like the Glasgow Rangers, one of of the famous songs they sung. And a sight I'd never seen when they sang God Save the Queen, when the Rangers came to Wolverhampton Town. When the Rangers came to Wolverhampton Town.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Okay, we'll start and mark your homework here, but if anybody comes in and join us, we'll break up the conversation. Right, give us your successes first, Linda. Successes.
Successes, right. Okay. So I've just set it up as a kind of 4-3-3.
Right, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay, so I'm hoping that these are all signings. I don't think any of them came through the youth setup, but I suppose you've got to sign them anyway, haven't you? Right, my goalkeeper would be Gorham.
Okay, I thought you'd have been for Chris Woods, but there you go, that's another story.
Well, yes, aye. Can I change my mind on that? Right, okay, we're going on looks, we'll go with Chris Woods. Right, so my right back, I've gone for Gary Stevens, and I know Sandy Jardine would be in there, but I'm kind of
He came through the ranks,
Sandy. Right, I thought that. My central defensive pair, I've gone for Richard Gough and John Brown.
Ooh.
And for a sheer value for money, and I know that we're not bringing that in, that's not a must, but I've gone for Sasa Papic at left back.
Ooh. Put a pen through that. I was certain for Davy Robertson for you.
Davy Robertson is the other one I've got, so I couldn't, between them it would be.
Okay.
And my three in the midfield, I've gone for Gaza, Stephen Davis and George Alberts. Could have picked a lot of other ones, Ox, but I've gone for them. And my front three, I've gone for Davy Cooper, Haitley and McCoist, but I could have had Mark Walters or Brian Laudrup in there as well.
Interesting. Aye, it's a bit of fun. Right, GB.
Right, Ox. Successful ones, right? So I've kind of just went for ones like the run-of-the-mill names. I went and picked ones that have probably been successful, but no so much big names. So
hurry up, I've got my work tomorrow.
Right, here we go. Right, okay. So I've got Kloss.
Right, fair shot.
Papac, Marvin Andrews, Boomsong, Newman.
But you playing two left backs in one team?
Mate, I know. I couldn't find a right back that was worth a transfer in that short space of time. Midfield, I've got Carlos Bocanegra.
He's a centre half.
He's playing. He's a super role for me.
Good on you.
Have you been out of glue?
Remember, it's value for money. Right. Claudio Reyna.
Aye. You can not put
Pedro
him right back.
No, he's sitting in my just in front of my sweeper.
Great player.
Yeah. Pedro Mendes.
Oh, aye. Bit of class, aye.
Up front, I've got Kinija, Novo, and Rod Wallace.
What a height in that front three.
But they've all got silky feet, mate. All silky feet and can put the ball away.
Kinija. Sometimes we forget about him. Right, we'll talk about Linda's team, Blue Star, if that's all right. Well, I think GB's to report to HR. Right. She's got a fair team there, hasn't she?
I don't know about the midfield. It's a good side, of course it is. The midfield, and I don't think you could ever leave Laudrup out, but we'll get our preferences. You know what I mean?
Right. fair enough. This is a bit I want to hear. I wasn't that bothered about success. I want to hear the flops. GB, I'm going to go to you first because you were entertaining me your successes. So let's see.
Flops, right? Okay. This first one's got to be controversial. So it's John McLaughlin in goal.
Oh.
In defence, I've got Stella Stensas.
Oh.
Bruno Alves. Bella Moschini. Daniel Prodan.
Yep. You've done well
So
with
that's
that.
my...
You've done better with that. You've done your successes.
So my midfield is Joey Barton.
Right.
Carlos Pena.
Right. Good night.
Christine. Christine Nengerler. I think that's.
Oh.
Aye.
Right.
Ian Black.
Are you going for 4 in midfield, aye?
Aye, yep.
Right.
And then up front, I've got Sandaza.
Right.
And Michael O'Haran.
Right. Just for point of clarity, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Who sent you that?
Who sent that?
Right, Linda. He's done well the point. Beat that.
Well, I've got some of the same players. And
Aye, that's all right.
I'll take a photograph and send you my pages.
No, it's all right. I trust you, Linda. I don't trust him, but I trust you.
The goalkeeping situation I thought was quite difficult because I know we must have obviously had a few players that weren't very good, but we've kind of been blessed with really quite good goalkeepers. Was there a goalkeeper? Was it Simonson?
Simonson. He'd played for Everton and Arsenal. I think Arsenal, maybe Everton, but went for a lot of money. He was great, but he just couldn't catch the ball.
Aye. I just remember there's been a few clangers from him. So I've gone, the back four, I've gone with Declan John.
Right.
Bruno Alves. I've put Jack Simpson in there. I know we didn't see an awful lot of him, but I thought he would. I think he basically flopped Cardoso.
That's a cracker.
So I'm not even sure. Did Cardoso play a centre back or?
Aye, he did.
He did, didn't he? So
we'll give you that one.
Give you that one. My midfield is also Ian Black, Joey Barton, and Carlos Pena. I've got the 3 of them as well. And up front, I'll tell you, I'll throw a few names in, and you can pick whatever 3 you want. Obviously got Zandaza as well. I've got Franny Jeffers.
Oh, what a pick.
Michael Halloran, Eros Grezda. I've got Sadiq. A guy called Kane Hemmings, or was it Kane Kemmings?
Yeah. Kane Hemmings.
Dalcio.
Oh.
And you could also, and this is maybe controversial, but you could also throw Aaron Ramsey in there as well, perhaps. And somebody who maybe came and we paid a lot of money as well, and maybe, I don't know whether this is controversial, but what about Torrey Andrew Flo?
I think his goal scoring record was good. His play wasn't great. His goal scoring record was passable, but because his price tag, I would give you, he was a flop. Yeah. But your Franny Jeffers one is a good pick. Paid a lot of money and he was a flop. He was hopeless, if I'm being honest, Poster.
Absolutely hopeless. And he was Rangers daft, we all know that, but he was stinking. Jonas Turn for me and Ox for what we paid for him. We never get nothing out of him.
No, injured. A couple of games, mate.
That's right. We've had some right Lulus, you know. we really have.
Listen, I'm going to a split decision here. Linda, you won the successes, and GB, you won the flops.
That's about right, Ox. I'm in amongst the flops.
Would you agree with that, Boy Star? Would that be fair?
Absolutely, yeah.
Bit
It's a hard one because see if you go to the unsuccessful, oh for goodness sake, you go for it. And Wonder's right, mate. We've been lucky in the goal. Most of the time we've been lucky in the goalkeeping situation. I mean, we had guys like Waterous that came in for nothing, and crikey, it'll come back to me. And we never even paid for some of the guys really, and yet they were real success rates. We've been really lucky in the goalkeeping. Up front, we've had some right lulus, and in defence, haven't we?
Fox would have played Kevin Kyle up front.
Why?
That's another one.
Daly as well, John Daly.
He actually had quite a good goal scoring record for us, bizarrely, yeah. Yeah.
I suppose they were in at a time at Oxford, there was turmoil, so I suppose you can't.
Yeah, that was right enough, Know your audience. Right, okay, a bit of fun. But
and then the other one you can add on to that, the amount of players that we went and got in that hardly even kicked a ball because they were absolutely crocked the minute we got them. I mean, one of the worst ever. Walter Smith says he could never live it down. Prodan. I mean, I don't even think he wore the shirt, did he?
No, not one. Not one. So GB had him in his team. I still reckon somebody sent him it. There you go, or his copies Linda's homework.
Tried to get a mixed bag from my youth to my present, mate. So I'm quite chuffed with that one. And it's the same with the successes. The successes was guys that were kind of in for a couple of grand and put on a performance. I mean, as much as I would never probably have them in my best Rangers team, like say Claudio Reyna, and I mean, I even had down Sonny Oluko as well. I think that guy was absolutely brilliant for us, and Russell Latape. These guys actually played really well for us. They weren't world stars, but they were successes and for the money that we brought them in for.
Aye, listen, it's all about opinions, but you're right. Oh, that was a shout. Basil Ball, Linda.
Yeah, he was somebody I thought of as well. Came with a big reputation, had played in the biggest stage, but he couldn't have been with us very long, was he?
I'll check it out for you. I will check it out for you. But GB, I'm surprised you never played Basil Ball at centre forward. We're active for years, no?
Especially a couple of left backs charging up and down.
I know, but by the way, both these had Parpatch in your team, which surprised me, Blue Star, eh?
Oh, see, there's absolutely no getting away from that. The fact that guy, he really was an unsung hero. It's known to, even sometimes you see the old highlights of some of the games, see some of the tackles that guy put in. They were actually bone crunching. And he wasn't the biggest of guys, but he was a stalwart. He really was. And I don't think he cost us a lot of money, did he?
I think he came in for, was it Rapid Vienna with Le Guin for, I'll say £1 million. I don't know.
He really did. He did really, really well. He really did.
I ended up at left back. I'm going to check out Basil Bolly. How many games in that he played? It'd be interesting, Linda.
Yeah. I don't remember it being that many. Did he come? Was he actually signed at the same time as Brian Laudrup?
I think so.
I don't know about him.
It was only raised for one season.
It was about $4 million, wasn't it, Fox?
It was a lot of money, aye. 28 games, he played 94, 95.
5 a season, aye.
Aye, and let's see. When did they last started? The last game we started, we lost away at their place 3-0. We never seen him again. Yeah, it was only raised for a short period of time, Linda, and he came in with a big reputation money.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, I just remember when we signed him, everybody was like, "Oh my goodness!" That was at the time when David Murray just got his chequebook out and we just went out and signed whoever we wanted to, didn't we, Ox? Times have obviously changed, but don't remember him being very successful at all. But he's not the worst flop that we've had.
No. And to be fair and Flo, I don't think he was the worst player we ever had. But obviously, you're looking 12 million quid, GB, you're looking for something special, and it never really happened. His goal scoring record was okay, better than most, but just 12 million, it was a heavy weight.
Probably as well, Oxy, for him to score that old firm as well, it probably cost him for then on. I mean, it was like you say, the price tag and stuff like that. He never really, like you say, set it alight. It was and at that time as well, the Premier League was just starting to get big, and we got a hold of a top Premier League player supposedly. I mean, and we're just chucking money about like crazy business. If only we could held on to that 12 million and spent it now, we would have been in a far better position.
I think we sent him and Ronald de Boer in the same week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Ronald de Boer was a success, I suppose, wasn't he? He actually played better football when Dick Advocaat left, I think, to be honest, for the team.
Yeah.
Will he win? I think one of his finest performances, bizarrely, was quite an easy result, but the will to win that day against Dunfermline when he kept driving the team on when we wanted goals. I think he was a big factor in that performance.
Yeah.
Massive. Arteta that day, Ox, was phenomenal. Considering he was only a young boy really at the time, he was all over that pitch, and he had the cojones to take on penalty too. I mean, there was some amount of pressure on the boy, but I thought Arteta was a real classy player.
That team that day, what was it? The front four, was it? It was Kanidja, the boy, the Georgian boy, what's his name? Avalanche, Michael Moles, and Ronald de Boer.
Even Thompson.
Thompson.
Even Thompson. Come on, man. Anyway, just a bit of fun. Come and join us. Give us your thoughts. Particularly on Todd Cantwell. Is it something that's starting to enthuse on you? Do you know much about the boy? Do you fancy him as a signing? You're looking forward to other players coming in, hopefully, over the next couple of days. Give us your thoughts. 0141 356 1972. Phone in. Speak to the reception. We will phone you back and bring you into the call. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting couple of days. Yes, mate.
That was really good there, by the way. That I really enjoyed that. I just wanted to touch on it there just before you moved on. Just that it was good to see when you're thinking about the players. It does bring back really good memories, especially my crazy successes and stuff like that.
Some of them know some good memories, GB.
Especially the failures, But no, that's his great memories, especially with like say Rod Wallace, man, just banging in the goals at that time, and then we touched on there just that day with Arteta and De Boer driving us forward for that title. It was just outstanding memories.
Rod Wallace will never be forgotten. A guy who scores a goal at Hampden to win a treble, score a winning goal against them, he'll be in our goal forever, Linda.
Yeah, bit of an unsung hero and one of the best bits of business I think we've ever done in terms of the value for money. I loved watching Rod Wallace. He was just one of these wee guys that just loved scoring goals, didn't he? He was always seemed to be in the right place at the right time as well, Ox. Yeah, a fantastic player, really was. Very good for us.
Aye. Unsung hero. Yeah. Didn't come in with a big fanfare at the time because of the other players we were signing under Dick, but he done well for us over a couple of seasons, if I've been fair, Bostana.
Done absolutely brilliant. Great wee goal scorer. And for the size of him, he was fearless. I mean, at that time, he was in against big giants and centre halves, and he get tore right in the wee guy. He had a cracking shot on him too. Very, very agile. To me, folks, the other one, I think, he was a bit of an unsung hero as well. See wee Billy Dodds for what we paid. And I know he was playing with cracking players, don't get me wrong. I thought wee Dodds scored some amount of goals for the period of time he was with us. You knew when that ball went across that box, he would be there or thereabouts,
I'm going
a bit like Wallace. If you knew if he got on the end of one, you knew it was at least going in target. You know, if not in the net.
I'm going to tell you, this has caused a bit of debate. I've just picked up my phone, and it's red hot with messages with people. What about this you? What about that you? And there's too many to read out, if I'm being honest. It was a bit of fun. Calm down. Yeah, there's no prize. Well, if there was a prize, GB was second.
Well, I think it'd be well in the pecking order, mate, with our team. but sometimes it's good looking at the unsung
and
heroes.
Your flops won out the park, mate.
Aye, definitely. I concentrated hard on that because that's the ones that really annoyed me.
Right, okay, it's been reported. Well, we've got approximately 10 million to spend now in this transfer window. Now, we don't know if that's total budget under for bringing players in, because wages, you've got to take wages into account, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so how would you spend it, and spend it well, if you were Ross Wilson and Michael Beale?
Okay, so we've obviously got Cantwell in the door, and we know he's a forward player, a forward-thinking player. We definitely need somebody who's going to come in and help out with the kind of the deep playing midfielders. And I know that the guy that's been quoted, this Nicholas Raskin, I think he fits into that. That would help out with with Lundstrom and Jack and Kamara. He would go in and obviously I think he would be an upgrade on them, and it's not any disrespect to the Mocs, it's just also the way that they're playing just now. So that's definitely a priority. I don't know, the goalkeeping situation is a worry. I know he's come out and said that he's not going to sign any goalies. There's a lot of fans that think that we should be, but I don't think that's going to happen. The other position that's a wee bit concerning for me just now is maybe the striking position, because we don't know what's happening with Roof, and we don't know how Cholak's going to be. Is there a possibility that we could maybe bring in a striker? I know Oxy said he didn't want to bring in loans or any projects or anything, but see, even just as maybe a short-term thing to the end of the season, perhaps if the striking position's causing him concern, maybe that's an avenue that he could go down. That will depend how he feels he's going to be with getting them back from injury.
Akima Roof, I believe he went for a scan, GB, and he fell off the trolley and hurt his other shoulder.
Don't you talk about my favourite striker like that. I tell you, we get him fit, he'll be a 20-minute player and he'll be scoring goals for fun for us, I tell you. As soon as we get this team running at pace and we get Roof steady and fit, and we see him in these games where we're trying to finish our teams, he's
best of luck getting him fit, mate.
Yeah. He's got a contract talks that I think he's got about another 18 months, is it?
18 months to go on.
Aye, so I think I don't see Roof leaving under any other terms. I think that's what I'm saying. So we've got to get him fit, get him on the park, and just get him mad in the goals. Like Blue Star's saying there, a Billy Dodds kind of player, a guy you bring off the bench that he's struggling and eventually he pops up with a goal. That's where Roof's role is in our team now going forward, I think.
How do you get him fit, mate? I mean, we've got him fit and then he's went. I mean, you can't, just pure bad luck, innit?
It is, but you only just play him again, Ox. He'll be a bit part player. He will be on for the last 15 or the last 20 in games if he's getting used at all. You know what I mean? But he'll be a player, like I say, that might just dig us out a hole one day, and we're just going to have to see him as the kind of... Now that way we were all saying, how are we going to be able to bring in another striker who's going to accept being third choice? Well, now we've got it. Roof's going to be the third choice kind of striker in our squad now.
Mm-hmm. I'll be interested to see how it pans out. How would you spend the money, the 10 million? What's your thinking, Blue Star?
Totally concur with Linda and JB. Ox, to be honest, the boy you're asking for me, if anything, I know he's a bit different, much as I say we need legs in there, Raskin's got that, but he's made it a kind of tackler, but he loves to get forward and spray the ball. But even in YouTube, and I know you can't go with YouTube, you can make a guy look world class in YouTube, but the one thing you do see about him, his head's always up, he never looks down, and he's always spraying balls about left, right, centre. It's always forward passing. I think he would be an absolute wonderful addition, I really do. And a bit like Linda says, and JB's right, we all know the guy, he only needs a chance and a sniff of goal and he'll put it in. But Ox, we've just got him back after all these months and he falls out and does a shoulder. Now, you've got to 40 the grunt, left, right and centre in every game. The guy's just totally, utterly injury prone. You couldn't rely on him. Yes, if you could keep him fit, we all know he'd probably never be out your team. But we need something else up front. So we need something, because as yet we still don't know what the prognosis is on Kovac. So if you've not got him and you're having to rely on Alfie all the time, that's just not good. We need another striker in there, Ox. Somebody. You need somebody.
He was back playing on Saturday, so I think we'll hopefully see a bit more of him this Saturday, Linda.
Yeah, I hope so. Because he's going to have to get himself back up to sort of match fitness as well, isn't he? It's all very well back in training, but I don't know. You could see the game that he did start when he came back from injury. Ox, I know that it was a new injury he had, but even at the beginning of that, he was he looked really rusty. His touch was out.
The D-United away.
Yeah. And I know he went on to sustain another injury, but even at the beginning, and then, when you're trying to get back into the full swing of a game and get up to speed, it's very difficult. So we would like to maybe think that he might get some time on Saturday. Ox probably won't start, but maybe come on for the last half hour or something, and maybe start to sort of get him back into the team gradually.
I will see. I mean, obviously, goals change games. If you get in front, you can bring him on and give him minutes. I don't think he'll start at the weekend, if I'm being honest, GB.
No, I think he'll go again with much a similar team. I think it will be Morelos that gets the call up front, mate. He is on form. Let's be fair to him. I mean, he is scoring goals, and he's probably about the fittest out of the other two strikers. So, he'll be again maybe 20 minutes. Gene Choak. I mean, there is a concern there for him. I hope he kind of shakes this off and gets back to the form that we've seen at the start of the season. I just hope that it's no that this is him starting to pick up injury after injury. I mean, that's my only concern.
He's on the way back. I mean, the surprising thing about the Roof thing, if he'd have felt like that, and maybe in the Kilmarnock game you'd understood it, but that Park at Hampden was like falling in the mud, Linda,
Yeah, I know. And I think he's had that type injury before, but it was obviously his other shoulder. And when if he was going to get injured, you would have thought it would have been maybe pulling his calf again, or maybe some sort of a strain just because he's not played a lot. But you just couldn't write the script for it.
No.
You feel sorry for him.
Yeah, there's a bit of sympathy with that.
Ox, it's just as well he's no good looking. If Linda went to give him a hug, she'd probably crush his earrings or something.
It's only you need to be special. Then that group post-star, you need to be special.
Oh, see, one of the points can I bring up? See, for the start of the season, you've always hit me with the same thing about it's no easy getting players out the door. Well, I've been delving into that the last month or so, especially coming up to this transfer window. And let me tell you, I congratulate you, because I've not heard that mentioned in many other shows and many other blogs. And I'm telling you, when you see our wage bill to certain players, I'm dumbfounded, Ox. And I'm telling you, that's one of the hardships our manager's definitely going to have. They're out with 10 players that are out of contract. That's different because most of them's not in the first team pool. But for first team poolers, for him to get rid of, if and only if they're able to move them on because other clubs come in for them. See some of the wages are on, Ox. They have no chance of getting those wages anywhere else. It's going to be a major drawback trying to get rid of them.
Would you move if you were them?
That's it, Ox. That's it in a nutshell. I mean, it's and unfortunately, it's not good to our manager because he's needing players in and he wants to cultivate his own team. But certain players there, the wages that they're on, they're astronomical. They really are. They have no chance of getting anything like that. So, is it a case of you've got to part pay their wages to move them or put them out in loan, or you've got to try and pay them off? Well, if they've got to try and pay them off, it's going to accumulate to a lot of money, Oaks, because some of the wages are astronomical for what they're giving the club, honestly.
No, we've got quite a few players that are maybe value for money. I mean, obviously you've got guys that have been unlucky. We talk about Rufus injury, Big Hollander, a serious injury. Hadji's no played. Guys that have been, part of the game. You've got to suck that and just go on with it one day. Yeah, but there's guys that we've brought in that they ain't moving because their wages are getting. They're never going to get the likes of it again.
Yeah. And it's easier said than done trying to get them moved on as well, Ox, because who's going to come in for them with their injury records? It's almost a case of sometimes you've got to just sort of cut your losses and negotiate some sort of deal for them to move on. Not pay out their contract, but maybe offer them something to move. But as Blue Star said, they hold all the aces. They don't need to leave. Somebody like Big Hollander, it's actually a bit of a mystery what's been going on with him at times. We've seen him with that moon boot, and then the boot was off, and then it's back on, and they haven't really found out exactly what's happened. The club won't say that, Ox, but his contract's up in the summer, and there was rumours about him going back, home to his home country. But as you said, he doesn't need to. He can just sit and they'll go in the summer.
Aye. Or he'll sit in days rehab with us when he's getting paid X amount. I don't blame the lad. An injury like that, I've got sympathy for. But I think the guys that maybe Blue Stars are alluding to is maybe guys that are fit and they're sitting in the stand and not playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The guys that have got serious injuries, you've just got to deal with that. But I get it. But Blue Star, I don't think you're alone. I think every club's got the same problem in modern football.
Absolutely. It's just the predicament we're in when, if our managers, I honestly think he was definitely assured a finance. I don't think there's any doubt about it, because he wouldn't come out another job. He knows he's up against one other side and he sees the money they're spending, so he knows he would need reinforcements. How you go about that, whether they're out of contracts or no, you've still got wages to pay. So there's finance there, we know that. But when you've got the amount of players that we've got that are on big, hefty wages, trying to move them on is going to be, I don't wish it on anybody, but it's going to be difficult for us. But as you say, it happens at every club. It's just we know we've a lot that need, let's be honest, need put out the club. They've got to leave. It's not enough. They've got to get other reinforcements in. But I'm glad that I'll need to go. But thanks for taking my call. And I've got to be honest, I'm optimistic. I like the way our managers come out. I like the way that he addresses the support. Ox. He's trying to let us know what's happening. He's trying to give us his ideas. You can certainly see the players, a lot of them are certainly trying to play for the guy. And I can only see it onwards and upwards, and here's hoping we're back to where we are at number one. And I'm sure if he gets his way, he certainly can put us there. But thanks for taking my call, folks, and carry on the good work. Great show.
Cheers, mate.
Good night.
Cheers, Blue Star.
Good night.
Hi, come and join us 01413561972. Phone in, give us your thoughts. A good point there with Blue Star at the end. It's difficult because obviously you've only got X amount of a budget to spend, London, on players, and if some of that's been ate up with players that are not involved, and that you're tied.
Yeah, and look at in the summer, who would have thought that, we obviously Cholak made a great start. What did we pay for him? Just under 2 million. And one of the major concerns for us has been around the boy Matondo. I mean, I don't know how much we paid for him. Some people say it was 3 million.
I'll tell you how much exactly we paid for Belinda.
Aye, I don't think it was as much as 3 million.
I'll tell you exactly how much we paid for him. Too much.
Aye, too much. But again, we didn't. I mean, there hasn't been any talk about him being injured, but apparently he is injured. He's got a bit of a knee problem, and that's why we've not seen him. So you just, but even before that, Ox, he's been very, very poor.
I don't know who's telling you that, but their nose is getting bigger.
Right. Okay. Right. Is that not the manager himself?
Watch your space. But,
right. Okay.
You never know, but. I mean, guys have got after a bad start before and they've turned it around, but at the moment, I think we've paid too much for them. I just don't see it personally. But I have been round before, GB.
Not many a time, as I've heard, Ox. But Rabbi... Rabbi... in fact, I'll back up Linda. It was Rabbi Matondo that came out and said about his knee injury and that he didn't want to start 2023 that way. But my God, like Blue Star's touching on, like, how do you get rid of a player like that, and do you try and speak to him? I think it comes down to when we look at Charlie McCann there, he's leaving because he's wanting to now play football, and he's brought the club in some money. I think it becomes depending what you want out of your football career. And unfortunately, I think Rabbi, for what I've seen in social media and stuff like that, I think Rabbi Matondo will be quite happy just sitting taking his wage, to be honest. He doesn't seem to be a guy that's got the appetite to say, well, it's not worked out here, I want to go and play my football and progress my career and stuff like that. It just seems as though that he'll see out maybe a contract, or he might get his contract paid out or something like that.
Well, remember, he's got 3.5 years to go, mate.
Aye, I suppose it depends if he's wanting to sit about in a bench or a stadium for 3 years. I mean, that could get a bit boring. I mean,
I'm
so
sure
hopefully...
I'm sure the 4 or 5 million quid would help you get there at GB.
I know, and this is what I'm talking about, Ox. This is what I'm saying. Like, it's down to his mindset. What does he want to do? Does he want to waste 3 years of his life just wandering about the training ground and stuff like that, turning up to Ibrox when he's told to? I mean, I don't know. I think as much as you might have all that money, your life would get put on hold, and you wouldn't want that. So we can only hope that the kind of two of them can come to an agreement.
Could I go and then let you know in 3 years' time?
Aye, of course, mate. Of course.
Aye. Here's a question for the two of you, right? It's been reported again that the Standard Liège are looking for £2 million to bring this guy in. I mean, I've got my thoughts on it. You know, you look at some of these contract lads you get about nothing, and it's got to be value for money for you to bring him in, especially if you've got him in a pre-contract. Would you pay that money, Linda?
I'm not sure I would pay 2 million Ox. I think that's, as you say, so I suppose we've got to think about, you've got to sort of evaluate the next sort of 3 or 4 months and what we've got left to play for this season, and what impact that he would be able to make. You know, and say hypothetically, if we signed him, right, and you said, right, Linda, if we signed him and it guarantees us winning those 2 cups, as a fan, I would say pay the money, right? But from a business sense, I think you're probably saying £2 million is too much. And
also, you've got his wages for the 6 months to add on to that, which is maybe close to another $500,000,
Yeah, definitely, Ox.
Yeah. What's your thinking, GB?
I wouldn't, Ox. If it's a slam dunk that we've got him on a pre-contract, then unless we can offer like something like 500,000 or something like that for him, then I wouldn't even pay $1 million. The new Ox. I think we really need to keep that money back for the summer, because I think, as much as we've touched on with the goalkeeper side, I think we're going to have to spend probably decent money to get a decent keeper, if you know what I mean. It's going to be an important position for our team to be solid at the back, and I think if he can save the money, and even Michael Beale, he'll be wanting all the money he can get to build this team in the summer. So why would you spend it if you're going to get the player for free in the summer, and then he gets a proper pre-season with you and stuff like that? He's not going to miss out much. And to be honest, we've got plenty of defensive midfielders on our team already, so it might just be the perfect time that he comes in the summer.
I just think if you were paying that kind of money to get somebody in early that you were paying, you thought was worth that to bring in early, and you could get him for free in the summer, you're maybe talking about a 10, 15, 20 million pound player. Yeah, that you were getting on a free. And I don't think the boy is rated at that kind of cash. It might turn out to be the greatest buy ever made, but I just don't think I would. When I put my fans' head on, I'll get him in. We want to see him. We want to improve the team, everything. But when you look at the cold hard facts, economics, Linda, I don't think it makes sense. I would go to 300,000 tops. Yeah, tops, and that would be a push.
Yeah. Ox, do you think that's what we paid for Cantwell then?
No.
No, not the 2 million. Do you think we paid 300,000 for him?
No.
No, we didn't. Right.
More than that.
More than that, right? Okay.
But I'm talking about the boy Raskin, yeah.
No, I know. But Cantwell would obviously be worth it. Yeah, but not Raskin. No, certainly not 2 million. As GB said, if you could get it down to maybe a couple of $100,000. But the thing about that is that Raskin is actually rated. Is it Ronnie Delia that's the manager there? And he rates him, and he's got a lot of good things to say about him. But obviously, he is going to say that, isn't he? Because he'll be looking to try and get some sort of fee.
I don't blame them for trying to look for the cash. I would like to think they did the exact same thing,
Yeah, definitely, Ox. Yeah.
It's just, I think the other strange thing about it is the boy Raskin, he's played 5 times for Belgium.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean they've had some excellent players in the last generation, GB. So but it's the league that Cantwell's played in, it gives you the attraction, but only time will tell, yeah.
Aye, and I think probably there'd been a fear that there was other clubs sniffing about him as well. Todd Cantwell, I'm not saying there's not been any for asking, but like an ex-Premier League player is probably mere high calibre, and they're probably wanting that deal done and dusted to make sure that he didn't have like second thoughts and all that carry on. So Raskin, I think they can afford to wait for him just because they've got backup in that position. Whereas I think they see Todd Cantwell as a must, that we've not got that kind of playmaker in there that can give the keys to open up the defences. I mean, I think that says Todd getting this kind of, was it 4 or 5 months, and the team will help him, especially coming into the next season. And if we get Raskin, we get him, but certainly there's no rush to get him, if you know what I mean. If he's already signed a pre-contract, then I think like I say, as long as the boy keeps his self-taking air, then it will be good to go in the summer for him.
Well, we'll see, mate. I like to see them with a scarf above their head, and then we know it's a done deal, Linda. Here get some. The rumour mill's also been strong about a boy for Swansea, Linda.
Yeah, this boy Morgan Whittaker, he's I think he's 22, Ox, and he's another kind of a wide attacking player.
6'3", Linda, 6'3" winger.
Yes. Apparently, he was I think one of the best players in that League One, wasn't he? He's been on loan to Plymouth Argyle. The Swansea have recalled him probably to sell him, I think. That's kind of what you're getting, reading between the lines. And was he pulled out of the squad at the weekend?
He wasn't. He withdrew for the squad because he didn't feel he was in the right place.
Yeah. You can understand that. So quite, I don't know, League One, it's a reasonably good standard, isn't it? I think
Joe Rebo came for League One.
Yeah, definitely. 31 appearances, 9 goals and 7 assists, according to Wikipedia this afternoon when I had a wee look, because I don't really know anything about him, because I had never heard of him. So,
Maybe
again...
you done the Google search, did Morgan Freeman come up?
That's another story. Yes. But again, Swansea are trying to get as much money out of us as possible, you know, and as you said, they're just looking after their own interests, and I think they've been talking about bids that have been made in the press and stuff like that. So it's not easy, this January window. They do always tell us that, don't they? It's one of the most difficult ones because players have still got months left in their contracts, some of them.
Yeah. And it's only hindsight, as we said already, GB. You talked a lot of flops. People didn't see them as flops when we signed them.
No, Christ, we said about Bruno Alves, man. Guys came with so much experience and stuff like that, but unfortunately, I think he maybe came to a team that was maybe not ready for him. But these boys, Ox, I think these boys that were being linked with, I think they come with talent. They come with good pedigree. I mean, the Raskin, an ex-Rangers player, Thomas Buffel, under 21 Belgian manager, they just gave a good written report about him. So, what I say is that we're bringing in young quality, if you mean. So we're going to have these guys, the mainstay of the team. I mean, where it looks at, especially for Gain, I think that there's no. I don't think they released Todd Cantwell's contract, but they say it was a long-term contract. So you're probably talking maybe 3 years, 4 years there. And I think that it's been touted about Raskin. If he does sign, he's got to be looking at about a 4-year deal as well. So we're definitely preparing for the future. And then when you add that boy Whittaker into the team, I mean, God, we've got to have some size of either attacking midfielders or midfield dogs. I just think, where do we go in the summer? Because we're going to have to get players out. There's just got to be players that are just not going to get game time.
You're going to have players' contracts. I mean, look at the guys that contracts are up in the summer. Alander, Arfield, McGregor, Stephen Davis, Ryan Jack at the moment, yeah. Morelos, Kent. And some kind of planning. In a few weeks' time, none of them might be with the club, Linda. You're going to have, you know, maybe some of them might sign again, but potentially none of them could be with the club in a few weeks, huh?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the obviously Hollander, Davis, we don't know what's going to happen with Davis, you know, wish him well. I hope his recovery's going well. Somebody like Ryan Jacks started to show a wee bit of form, but would you still even take a risk on him? I don't know. We've spoken about maybe 1 year for him. And in Arfield, you know, as well, do you take it? Is it time for us to move on, Ox? And as I said earlier, thank them for their service, but, you know, we need to reduce the age of the squad, and it's what sort of impact that they're going to have. The Morelos and Kent ones are still, a source of debate amongst Rangers fans, and we've obviously debated it on here. You know, would you give Alfie another contract? Is he starting to show a bit of form again? And Ryan Kent is playing well. I think if Ryan Kent wants to stay, Ox, and the club can afford it, and Michael Beale definitely wants him to stay, I think, and he wants to sign another contract, I think Ryan Kent will, Ox. Alfie, I think that probably the Beale jury is still maybe out on Alfie.
Right. I mean, if you look at it in football terms and the form in the last year, you would say no. If you take economics and maybe extend that contract, so you maybe try and move them on, you know, and that becomes a different argument, you know, and I don't know if we would accept that, but I understand the argument. But GB, there's a lot of players there and a lot of wages just finishing up with the club come the end of May, yeah.
I mean, even when the players go, Oxley, we've still got to be out like kind of top heavy. You're still going to have the likes of, I mean, you're talking Lawrence, Cantwell, Scott Wright, Lowry, Fashion. I mean, that's still, and if the boy Whitaker comes in, I mean, you've got to have even more players sitting there with no game time. I don't know where they're all going to fit in. We're going to really, I think even players under contract are going to really start to have to think about their future, especially Scott Wright and Rabbi Matondo. I don't see where their future lies in Rangers.
Scott Wright, you've got a 5-year contract, mate. You need him for the team 40.
Aye. And the posters. But it's but Ox, see if we sign Ryan, Linda's touching on it, if we re-sign Ryan Kent, I mean, the amount of attacking midfielders that we've got in that squad, young Lowry, I bet he's really got to have to start thinking about his future, because you're going to have Fashion in front of him, you're going to have Lawrence in front of him, Hadji in front of him, Scott Wright in front of him, Cantwell in front of him.
It's up to him to get the pre-season done, mate, and get in front of them. That's what happens when you're a young player.
It's how he's got to do it, though. That's
the pre-season. You get yourself in your team, Linda, and you don't get out it.
Yeah, competition makes players play better, and we haven't had that this season because we've had so many players injured. With young Lowry, it will be interesting to see what happens with him, because obviously with Charlie McCann moving on, you wonder if Alex has been what he's been thinking the last few days. They've obviously played a lot together for the B team and obviously been in the squad for the first team as well. But I think Lowry will stay, and he'll, as you say, Ox, give it at least a pre-season for next season and see how he gets on. You've got to remember as well, he had that terrible injury, and it's taken him a wee while to get his fitness back as well. Couple of real moments of quality he showed when he came on Saturday, didn't he, Ox?
Nice feet, and then that pass he made, yeah.
Yeah, he's got ability, but I think we've still got to remember as well that the timing, as you've said before, Ox, has got to be right. But it does, it's not any slight on him or the club. It's just making sure that it's done at the right time. And we've got to remember as well, Michael Beale's got to pick the right team that he thinks is going to win. So it will be interesting to see how Lowry, how he sort of sees himself as well going forward.
We're in for an interesting time, GB, mate.
It is getting exciting, Oxen. It's good to see. It's good to see the board back the manager. It's good to see the manager being heavily involved in the transfers, and it's good to see what we've got in store, especially all this pace coming into the team. These players that we've been linked with, even Raskin and Whitaker, they've got a bit of pace about them as well. As much as that Raskin's a defensive midfielder, boy can shift and the boy can find a pass. So I think we're going to be in for a treat as soon as we get everybody in that we need, mate.
All right, we've reached that time of the evening. GB, your last word.
Well, Linda and Ox, thanks for the night. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been great to be back on the show, especially in these exciting times. And I can't wait for the weekend to see, hopefully, Todd Cantwell get his debut.
Linda?
Yeah, great night. Enjoyed the conversation. Good being on with GB again and your good self, Fox. Love talking about the Rangers. Looking forward to Saturday's game. I'm hoping to go to Ibrox. Haven't been for a wee while, so looking forward to going back and seeing a really good performance from the team and a very comfortable win.
All right, can I thank you two and thank Linda and GB, and of course both staff for joining us, Fox for doing the technicals. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night with the Mitchells. Roxy and Ronnie. They'll be joining us here on the show. Thanks for listening. Stay safe, and you never know, because it's some more positive news tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Enjoy your evening, everybody. Take it away. Foxy boy.